Welcome to Positive Atheism English Channel. In our program, Leaves from Gora's Life, we have come to know that in the last episodes, Gora, along with his family, has come to Mudunuru, a village, and started creating awareness about atheism in the area. And from there, today I shall continue. There are two human attitudes, theism being the expression of the slave mind and atheism being the expression of the free will. Therefore, most of the prophets, Socrates, Jesus, Muhammad, Gandhi, anyone who wanted to awaken the people to a greater sense of freedom, to a greater sense of reality, were considered and persecuted as atheists of their own age, heretical and blasphemous, if not altogether atheistic. Socrates was called atheist, Jesus was condemned for blasphemy, Gandhi was considered non Hindu by his assassin, and Muhammad was banned from Mecca. So, all prophets, though they talked of God, were more atheistic than their contemporaries and also were regarded heretics. Positively, therefore, atheism means the expression of the free will. When all of us feel free, we should live equal. There can be no barriers of untouchability, no barriers of caste distinctions, no barriers of nationalism, no barriers of class, caste, creed. All these go. We are all uniform humans. Nationalism also should not stand in our way. This new outlook of humanism, being members of the same humanity, same uniform humanity, began to dawn on our minds as we thought atheistically. It went even to the extent of saying that Marxist philosophy conflicts with the communists who propounded the Marxian philosophy. We had several discussions, and these discussions confirmed the thought that atheism is positive and express the free will, and we should feel free. This Gora was propagating in the villages among the people that came to him. As he was for some time a lecturer, he was invited to the colleges also to address the students. He was addressing meetings in the towns on the same principle that atheism is positive and it signifies free will. If there is any slave, the responsibility should be taken by the slave, not by the exploiter so much. Anybody is able to exploit if the slave obeys. So, the burden is shifted from the exploited to the exploited. Let the exploited awaken. If they take to atheistic ideology, they rebel. And when the downtrodden refuse to be trodden down, nobody can put them down. Gandhi, when he created a new awakening in India against the imperialistic rule, gave the same suggestion. He did not blame the British imperialists, but he blamed the slave mind of the Indians to allow themselves to be ruled by the Britishers. He talked very much about the slave mind of the Indians. So, Gora told the Harijans about their slave mind, the slave mind of the untouchables, and asked them to rebel. If the poor people rebel, nobody can exploit them, nobody can enslave them. This approach to the understanding of atheism seems strange at first, but as Gora went through the propaganda of atheism and talked of this ideology, he got more and more confirmed in this view, and it is this view that he presented to Mahatma Gandhi when he went to him in 1944. Let's see his life at Mudunuru. Despite certain physical discomforts, their life at Mudunuru has been very enjoyable. The main reason was that they were just living what they aspired for. It was not like the life as a lecturer, which he was living for salary. Here in Mudunuru, he could live freely as an atheist. That was the greatest joy of life. Also, he enjoyed the hospitality of all the people. The Harijans, the untouchables with whom his wife, children, and he himself and the young men around him were very closely associated and gave them what they could give with all their heart. They were growing some vegetables and taking them to the nearest market, which was about 8 miles away. Gudivada is the name of the place, the town to which they were going to sell them. Early in the morning, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, as they were going, they were leaving a few vegetables by the side of Gora's hut and going. So, by daybreak, when they woke up, they used to find every day a considerable quantity of vegetables lying by the side of their hut as a donation from these untouchables who were carrying these vegetables to the nearest market. That shows the love that they bore towards the cause which Gora and his family were representing. Though small their contribution was, it was of eminent significance to every one of them. They were getting mostly in kind whatever they wanted: clothes, corn, milk, and vegetables. Neither Gora or his wife saw a coin. There was no need for a coin. Coin was only a means of exchange. When they get the material which they wanted, what need of them to handle a coin? Everybody's purse was theirs, so they never had a purse of their own. They enjoyed everybody's heart. On one occasion, the hut in which they lived was thrown down by cyclonic winds. The whole hut was going down. Several of his friends thought of rebuilding the hut, but about 200 of these untouchables came and lifted up the whole hut and put it in the normal position. It was a tremendous feat, not only of physical strength, but of love. So they were very much obliged to the hospitality received and the kindness they enjoyed at Mudunuru. Now let's learn about an incident occurred there. Gora doesn't say that everybody in Mudunuru loved them. There were orthodox people who viewed them with suspicion. They did not like the ideas of atheism. Therefore, they raised certain superstitions. Once there was a curious incident. In a home in that village of Mudunuru, one afternoon a conch shell appeared in a shelf on the wall. The conch shell is the symbol of God Shiva. An older member of the house did not know how the conch shell appeared, but he just removed it from that place. Half an hour later, another conch shell was found there. He was surprised. He removed that too. A few minutes later, another conch shell appeared there. He thought once. He connected that incident with the appearance of God Shiva and he spread the rumor at once in the whole village that God Shiva was coming there. The conch shell was his harbinger and Lord Shiva was appearing himself to destroy the atheists of that village. Several village folk gathered there. They observed the appearance of God Shiva with all reverence to worship that God and perhaps to destroy the atheists of that village, including Gora and his wife. Then the conch shell did not appear when they came. There was a good friend of Gora's called Puvula Nagabhushanam, himself a great devotee, but at the same time very friendly to him. He wanted to verify what it was. Himself being a great theist, he was allowed to observe the whole thing. He sat there and observed the phenomena. A little boy, 4 or 5 years old, was just moving about restlessly at that place. He called the boy and talked to him. Then the cat was out. Another neighbor brought some conch shells from the town market. The conch shell can be used for medicine after certain treatment. The conch shell is powdered and the powder is used in certain medicines. So, this little boy was stealing some of the conch shells from the neighbor and was placing them in the shelf, but the man was removing the conch shells. So every time the conch shell was removed, he was placing with it and stealing some others from the neighbor. That's why the conch shells were appearing there. The whole ox was exposed and then the women folk also got disillusioned. They got more confirmed in atheism and so the superstitious people were disillusioned that way. With fire walking and with the incident of the conch shell, the superstitious people were getting disillusioned and so the theists were getting weakened and atheism was gaining more and more ground. That's how Gora's life at Mudunuru was very enjoyable on the whole, with the sympathy and wholehearted cooperation of most of the villagers, especially the untouchables. The caste isolations also were disappearing because his wife and he would not attend a dinner or a party unless the Harijans also were invited to the function. And so, this way, they made it possible for the different castes to mix together in greater affection than they were traditionally. So they enjoyed their life at Mudunuru. But one of the biggest happenings there was that his life at Mudunuru took him to Mahatma Gandhi in 1944. And in the next episode, we shall know about his contact with Gandhi. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to our Positive Atheism English Channel, presented by Dr. Samaram Multi-Channel Network, which has more than 18 crore views, and click the bell icon for notification of our new videos.
Please download Samaram multi-channel app and watch your favorite channels from your mobile. App available on Google Play Store and subscribe to the channels.